Good morning. And yes, I'm back. Still a little under the weather, but every day is a little bit better. So it was a long week. It was a long 2 weeks, actually. So I'm glad to be back with you. I'm glad to be feeling better. And I'll be doing a show about that later in the week because it kind of coincides with a topic I want to cover later on, probably on Wednesday. But of course, like most of you, I spent the weekend watching the horrible news out of London. Yet another terrorist attack. And yes, once again, ISIS is taking responsibility. And look, you've seen all the coverage of what actually happened in London on the news. So I'm going to do a different take on the story because I watched all the news I have available to me here, which is two channels. I'm at the Bay, remember? Not such good TV. But I have CNN and I have Fox. And they both covered the story very differently as to who they invited onto their various coverage segments to discuss the terror attack. And what really interested me is that Fox, of course, who sides with Donald Trump and the far right, had people on that were saying that, oh, it's the mosques, it's the imams, it's Islam that is making these people radicalized. CNN had a different take. They actually had a Muslim person, a former person who had been radicalized and didn't like it and left. And that was interesting. It was interesting to listen to him. Now, Fox had him on too, so I'm going to be fair to Fox. But CNN had him first, and it was interesting to listen to him. And then there was another person that was interviewed who spoke of who is actually being radicalized today. So to start, I'm going to take you guys back to September 11th, 2001. And that was an attack years in the making. It was coordinated. It was 15, actually 19, but remember a couple of them couldn't get in the country or one got arrested. But 19 men, young men, who went over or were born in these Arab countries and were radicalized there. And they trained there under Osama bin Laden. They came to the United States under false pretenses on student visas and then disappeared. And we let them. We didn't follow through by saying, well, your student visa's up, or guess what? You never went to college, so you're out. And they took flying lessons here. No need to teach me how to take off or land. I just want to know how to fly. And we in America, the flying schools taught them how to fly planes. It took years for them to plan this. And it was a coordinated attack, and it killed over 3,000 innocent people. That was Al-Qaeda. That was radical Islamic terror. Now let's fast forward to 2017 and ISIS. We are not seeing 19 or 20 terrorists hijacking planes. We're not seeing bombs. I mean, massive bombs or massive shootings or 20 gunmen or planes being crashed into buildings. We're not seeing any of that. What we are seeing now is, let's just call it terror light. Now, look, I'm not saying that the dead people are no less dead and the people who were injured are no less injured. But again, we hear Trump saying, gotta ban all the Muslims, gotta close down all the mosques, or we need to start surveilling all the mosques. We need to treat anyone who practices Islam as a criminal, even though they have done nothing wrong. Well, see, that's not how our country works. If we all had crystal balls, life would be great. There would never be a murder. There would never be a robbery. There would never be a plane crash. There would never be a car accident. Nothing bad would ever happen because we would know about it ahead of time. We would know that on September 11th, 2001, 19 men are going to board 4 different airplanes and try to fly them into buildings and kill a lot of people. And we would have stopped them. But in our country, and in England as well, you're not allowed to put somebody under surveillance or arrest somebody before they do something wrong. You're not allowed to do it. And since you're not allowed to do it with Christians or Buddhists or Wiccas or atheists or anybody else, you can't do it with Muslims either. You just can't. You know, you arrest a black man driving in a white neighborhood and they say the police profiled him. He wasn't doing anything wrong, and that happens, and it's wrong. Well, this would be even more wrong because you're basically putting an entire religion into this basket of terror. And the saddest thing of all is if you really look at Islam, and I found this out by watching CNN, and I listened to one of the commentators, the guests, and he said, Islam is a peaceful religion. And I've said this before, I have never read the Quran, but this weekend I heard several quotes from the Quran. Allah actually said in the Quran that a Muslim should never harm another human being, even in times of war. That's in the Quran. It is. This holy holiday where these radical terror groups decide they want to cause mayhem in the world is actually very similar to the Christian period of Lent. Ramadan is actually a period of 1 month where good Muslims are supposed to fast, pray, reflect, and do charitable works. Do for those who are less fortunate than they are. That is what the meaning of Ramadan is. It is not a jihad. It is not a time of war. It's not. But these radical, crazy people are twisting the true meaning of Islam into a pretzel. Just as many Christians twist the Holy Bible, the Christian Bible, into a pretzel to suit their fanatical views on Christianity. And I will give you examples of that. Let's talk about dancing, for example. There are some Christian religions that forbid dancing. They forbid it. They are Christian. They read the Holy Bible. And for some reason, something in the Bible made them think that dancing is a sin. And yet, Jesus, remember the wedding where he turned water into wine? We'll get to that too. But there was dancing at the wedding. Jesus was dancing at the wedding. It was his cousin's wedding. And he was dancing. There is nothing in the Bible that says that dancing is a sin. But some Christian religions forbid dancing. Some forbid drinking alcohol. Jesus hosted his Last Supper and he served wine. It was Holy Communion. In fact, some churches use wine when they give Holy Communion. Therefore, there is nothing in the Bible that says drinking alcohol is a sin. And yet, some Christian religions, and Muslim as well, do not partake of alcohol. They say it's a sin. See how things get twisted around? Let's talk about birth control. There is nothing anywhere in the Bible that says using a condom is a bad idea. You're going to hell. And yet we all know that there are many religions, including the Catholics, somewhere 10,000 years ago, whenever Catholicism was invented, some dudes got together and said, ooh, see, it says go forth and procreate. Well, that means that if you don't have children, you're sinning. That's not what that meant. But these old dudes that made up Catholicism said, well, that means that if you do anything to not have kids on purpose, well, that's a sin. So in our church, you're not allowed to use birth control. You're going to burn in hell. I'm not even sure there's anything in the Bible that says divorce is a sin. Adultery, bad, bad. And yet millions of Christians all over the world commit adultery. Let's face it, every day. They don't get stoned and thrown into fires. But there's really nothing in the Bible that says divorcing someone that is beating you or that you no longer get along with is a sin. And yet in the Catholic Church, no, divorce, very, very bad, going to burn in hell. Hell, abused women can't even divorce their husbands in the Catholic Church. Until of course their husband kills them, and then it's like, oh shit, maybe we should rethink this divorce thing. But now it's been going on for all these years. It's tradition. We're not going to change it. The Bible and the Quran get twisted up. Just like if I read a book and you read the same book, you and I could have a very different understanding of what the book actually means. We interpreted it differently. Now, if I read the book and I've got some kind of a weird head, or I am a lonely, sad, miserable, out of work, poor person who thinks the world is out to get me, I may read that book and I may say, that's telling me that I have to give payback to all those rich, spoiled, spoon in their mouth people. And you might read the book and you have a normal head and you're doing well and you're a happy person, and you might say, oh my gosh, that book was so uplifting, it was so inspiring, I want to go out and just do good things. It's all up here, people. It isn't the religion. It's the people who are reading the book and twisting it around because their minds aren't right. Many of these people, this was commented on this weekend, many of these young, usually young men, okay, are disenchanted with their lives. They can't get a girlfriend, or their girlfriend dumped them. I'm serious. This is how easy it is. They can't find a job. Their parents are disappointed in them. They failed college. They're losers. And they get on the internet. They've never been to Saudi Arabia. They've never been to Pakistan. They've never been to Afghanistan. They've never been to Syria. They get on the internet, and here are angry men just like them, saying, you know what, these infidels, these rich business people, these women who dress sexy and don't give you the time of day, and they don't obey you, and they don't do what you want them to do, and they don't bow down to you and treat you like the king you are, even though you can't get a job, you can't get an education because you flunked out of school, your parents are disappointed in you. Yeah, you're a perfect, any woman would want to date you. But it's not your fault. It's these highfalutin, fancy girls with their makeup and their uncovered faces and their big boobs and their fancy clothes. It's their fault. It's these rich, wealthy people making sexy movies and things that you shouldn't be even watching. It's these popular rock and roll stars that make women not want you. And these loser guys, these young guys who have failed at everything in their life, they feel at home in these places. They're like, oh my God, it's not my fault. It's not my fault that I didn't do well in school and didn't do my studies. It's not my fault that I don't want to work for a living. It's not my fault that I can't impress a girl. It's their fault. The infidels. Now they have a name. The infidels. Believe me, folks, this is how easy it is. This is how easy it is to convert somebody who is already feeling down at the bottom of the shit pile. Everything's going wrong. And then there is this light at the end of the tunnel, and it is called Islam. It's called ISIS. And ISIS, because they're all nuts, are telling them that the Quran, most of these people have never been to a mosque. Some of these dudes never been to a mosque, never read one page of the Quran. They only type in ISIS or Islam or radical Islam, and they just read what the ISIS, the crazy people, want you to hear. They don't actually do any research of their own, because remember, they couldn't get through college. So I doubt very much they're going to get through the Quran, even in English. They don't do their research. They don't go to mosque. They don't do their prayers. Some of them even drink and dance and party and have sex or whatever. They watch porn, all the things that good Muslims don't do. But boy, they love the killing part. The part where the radicals, the ISIS people say, your failure is not your fault. It's everybody else's fault. That's how they get these converts. A lot of these guys who are committing these horrible acts were actually not foreigners. They were born in the countries where they're committing these terror attacks. They've never been outside that country in some cases. Some of them do decide to go just to experiment. But again, it's kind of like when college kids used to experiment with marijuana and free sex. Well, today, sadly enough, sad and depressed and lonely college kids are experimenting with terrorism. And it's scary. It is very scary because they don't have to go anywhere. They don't have to leave their bedrooms. They can just go on the internet and type in a few words and get everything they need. Now, the Prime Minister of England believes that the internet should be censored. I don't know how I feel about that. Of course, we don't want child pornography being seen on the internet. We don't want violent acts being recorded and put on the internet. But speech, that is a fine line. If somebody comes on one of these webcams and says something, even if it's kind of radical, is it free speech or is it promoting terrorism? That's something that people smarter than I am will have to decide. I don't want to live in a world where I can't buy certain books or I can't listen to certain music or I can't access information that I need in order to do my show and pass information on to you in an intelligent way, not in a provocative way to get you to go out and do something awful. So I don't know how I feel about that. But believe me, this is what is happening. So when all of you are so quick to blame a religion, now look, religion is the root of all evil as far as I'm concerned. You know how political Paula rolls with religion. I truly believe if there were no Bible, there was no Quran, there was no Torah, there would be no wars anywhere. Because most of the wars that we have experienced have been over religious conflicts. One religion thinking they're better than the other religion or thinking the whole world should, and Christians are just as guilty of it. Trust me. The Christian who reads in the Bible, thou shalt not kill, but then goes out and murders a doctor because the doctor works at a clinic that performs abortions, well, that was killing. The Bible said no, it's a no-no, but killing an abortion doctor, well, that's, again, it's all in the mental. Bombing an abortion clinic, you're not going to kill just the doctors who perform abortions. You're going to kill innocent people. People may be there for other reasons, like maybe seeing their baby or hearing their heartbeat for the first time. That's a no-no. But in their minds, they're doing God's work, Jesus's work. They're preventing the killing of innocent babies while also killing innocent women who are carrying innocent babies with the intent of giving birth to them. You see how this works? There are some people that still believe, and I'm going back to my favorite group, the Duggars, the 19 and counting people, the Quiver religion, that actually still believes that a woman should obey her husband. Obey! This is a Christian religion, everybody. That the husband is always right. They give speeches about it to women. They actually, Michelle Duggar goes out and speaks to women with her married daughters, and they tell women how to keep their marriage happy. And part of it, and you won't believe this, I mean, I think I wrote about it before. Some of the stuff on the list of how to keep your husband happy: never go against him in an argument. Always take his side. Never criticize him, either to his face or behind his back. Always be available to him for sex. It's not worded that way, but basically when he wants it, he gets it. You can't say no. He's your husband. It's your duty. Let him take care of the finances, because you're just a little woman. You can't handle it. He should be in charge of all the important decisions in the family. That isn't in the Bible, people. That is not in the Bible. There were some strong women in the Bible. Yeah. So, this is how religion gets twisted around in the minds of people who change the rules or change the meaning to suit what they want to get out of it. I'm sure Jim Bob Duggar just loves being Jim Bob Duggar, knowing that Michelle will jump into bed with him anytime he says so, give him 19 kids, clean the house, do the cooking, wear her nice, modest clothes, never look at another man, never disagree with him. How many of you guys out there would like a wife like that? A wife that lets you handle all the finances. She doesn't know where the money is, how much there is, how to write a check. She never questions you. She never disagrees with you. She takes care of you, your every need. And you just wake up every morning and everything's taken care of. Whatever you say goes. God, that must be fun. You know what? If I were married to a man like that, and it was me who had all the control, and I was like bossing him around, I would not think he was much of a man. And I think as much as my husband gets annoyed that I have such big and bold opinions and I'm not afraid to voice them, I don't think he would want a Michelle Duggar as his wife, a Stepford wife, a wife that never questions, always says yes. I don't know, maybe he would. But I think my feistiness and my intelligence and my questions, sometimes questions that make him rethink something and change his mind, I think that's what makes our marriage work, because we're equal partners in our relationship. And if, any man who's ever with me is thinking he's getting a maid, a sex slave, and a yes woman, well, I got some news for him. He ain't getting that, because that's not who I am. So this is the show. This is my first show of the new week. We're going to have shows every day this week, as long as we are looking at some bad weather coming in. So as long as the weather permits, I mean, sometimes when we get bad thunderstorms, I cannot use the computer. I have to, because I unplug it. We get some really bad storms. But I think it's going to be okay. We're not going to get anything that is horrible enough to do that. So all new shows all week. And listen, when you're watching these shows, some of you people out there who are inclined to right away blame Islam, please remember what I said at the beginning of the show. And remember our motto here: love shows and grows. All religions, all of them, start out with peace, love, and charity in mind. That is what Ramadan means. Just like Lent, you are supposed to reflect on your life, reflect on yourself, sacrifice yourself, fast, pray, and do good things for other people. There's nothing in the Quran that says during Ramadan you go out and kill people just because you don't like the way they dress or the music they listen to. There's nothing in any religious book that says that. And the people out there who are saying differently, they're out of their minds. They're not normal people. They're not normal. They're not even human beings. They're animals. They're monsters. Actually, calling them animals is too much, because animals are cute and sweet. And the only reason animals kill is to protect themselves or to eat. Killing just for the sake of killing, or in the name of a religion that tarnishes the entire religion, is insane. And that's what these people are. They're insane. And just like at the concert yesterday, which I watched in Toto down here, I actually got the channel that it aired on, Freeform. Love. Love, love, love. You know, go up to a stranger today. I have a challenge for you. Go up to a stranger today and say, you know, this is for Manchester, England. And this is to give the finger to all the terrorists. I love you. I don't know you, but you're a fellow human being. I love you. Do that to a stranger today. I'm going to do it. There's not a whole lot of people down here. But if I see somebody, I'm going to tell them I love them. And I'll tell all of you, I love you. And I think that will send a message that sure, they can kill people. They can run cars into streets and into a bunch of people. They can stab people. They can put a bomb outside a concert hall. But in 2 weeks' time, guess what? Another stadium is filled with people listening to music and celebrating love. There's a message for those fucking terrorists. Those insane people who twist peaceful religions into their own manifesto. That to any normal human being makes absolutely no sense, including those who practice religions in a peaceful way, the way all gods meant it to be practiced. Political Paula, out.